Okay. Okay, good morning to all students. So today our lecture is types of larvae and pupae. So last time we discussed about insect morphology. So as per the last discussion, we are discussed about the insect head, thorax and abdomen region. So today topic is type of larva and pupa. So larva and pupa is a part of insect life cycle. So first of all, uh, we discussed about difference between the nymph and larva. So nymph and larva is a part of life cycle, part of a insect metamorphosis. So nymph is a part of incomplete life cycle and larva is a part of complete life cycle. In the insect morphology and insect metamorphosis, the life cycle is of two types. First life cycle is complete life cycle and second life cycle is incomplete life cycle. In complete life cycle, the stages of insect is first of all egg, larva, then pupa and then adult. So in complete metamorphosis, larva takes, and in incomplete metamorphosis, nymph. So now difference between nymph and larva. First difference is young one of exopterogyte insects. In larva, young ones of endopterogyte insects. So exopterogyte and endopterogyte. Exopterogyte means the wings in the wings present in outside of the body in insects, and endopterogyte means the wings are present inside of the insect. Second difference is resemblance of adult and differs from adult with regard to the wings and genitalia, and in larva differ from adult in appearance. So first of all, main difference between the nymph and larva is the adult and the cycle between the adult and the nymph, both are same, and in larval stage the adult and larva are both different according to their appearance. Like if we first of all we take one example. In the larval case, the adult is like इंसेक्ट, एंड अगर हम बात करें उसकी लार्वल स्टेज की, तो लार्वल स्टेज है वो एक कैटरपिलर स्टेज होगी. सो थर्ड क्या है, food habits of nymph is same as adult, and in larva food habit of larva is totally different from its adult. So ये बिल्कुल क्लियर है. The food habits the nymph is same as adult. The food habits of nymph and adults are same, and food habits of larva is totally different from the nymph. And fourth difference is mouth parts are similar to those of adults. In the nymph case, the mouth part of the nymph and the adults are almost same, and in the larval case the mouth part and the adult mouth part and the larval mouth part are the different. Same in nymph stage, the three pair of thoracic legs are present. In last lecture we discussed about the thoracic region of insect. In the nymph, the three pair of thoracic regions are present, and in the larval stage 0 to 11 pairs of thoracic legs are present. So main difference between in the nymph and larva is example is endopterogyte, and in larva is endopterogyte. Exopterogytes, the wings are outside from the body, and in endopterogytes the wings are inside the body. So first, type of larva. The insect larva is of three types. The first type is oligopod larva, and second type is polypod larva. Third type is apodos larva. So I'll repeat type of larva. First is oligopod larva. Second type is polypod larva, and third type is apodos larva. So first type, oligopod larva. So in oligopod larva, tracheal legs are present but abdominal legs are absent. So in the oligopod larva, on the tracheal region, on the thorax region, uh, as we discussed in last lectures, like the insect body is divided into three parts: head, thorax, and abdomen. So in oligopod larva, on thoracic region, thorax region, legs are present but abdominal region legs are absent. So in oligopod, only legs are present in thoracic region, second part of the region of the insect. Next is oligopod larva is hexapodous with well developed head capsule. In oligopod larva, head capsule is well developed with hexapodous. Hexapodous means six six structures of well developed head capsule. Next is mouth part similar to adult with no compound eyes. So in last slide, we already discussed mouth part are similar to those of adults. So in nymph stage, mouth part are similar to those of adults. In larval stage, mouth part are different from adults in most cases. So same in oligopod, mouth part similar to adult with no compound eyes. So well developed, fourth is well developed head capsule. In oligopod larva, the head capsules is well developed and its appendages means its legs. And oligopod also two types. First is compediform and second is crambiform. So oligopod larva is of two types. So first type is compediform and second type is crambiform. In compediform, the body is straight. The larval body is straight. Thoracic legs relatively well developed and long. So अगर आपको इसमें डिफरेंस दिखे तो इसके जो abdomen रीजन है उस पे लेग्स नहीं है, लेकिन इसके thorax रीजन पे लेग्स है. So only legs are present on thorax region. So these type of larvae are usually active larvae, and these type of larvae are mostly predators. Example, ground beetle, Neuroptera and ground beetle. So this is the example of larva of ladybird beetle. Second is strambiform larva. So strambiform larva is C-shaped body. A, B, C. C-shaped body is strambiform larva. Head is hypognathous. So hypognathous type is second type of the head, like opisthognathes and hypognathus. Next, thoracic region relatively reduced short. So इसकी जो thoracic region legs है वो short है. So this type of larva is inactive larva. Last larva जो compatiform larva is usually active larva, and strambiform larva is usually inactive larva. Example is Coleoptera, larva of white grub. Next, third type larva is second type larva is polypod larva. In polypod larva, both thoracic legs and well as abdominal legs are present. So in polypod larva, thorax legs and abdominal legs are present. Well developed segmentation in thorax and abdomen region. So here we see the segmentation in the body of larva. So polypod larva is of three types. First type is caterpillar, second type is semi-looper, and third type is looper. So first is caterpillar, second is semi-looper, and third is looper. First is caterpillar. Pro legs 5 pair. In thorax region, 5 pair of legs are present, 1 pair of each on 3 to 6 and 10th abdominal segment. So 3 to 6 and 10th abdominal segments के ऊपर इसकी जो legs है वो present होगी. Caterpillar larva of cabbage butterfly. Next is semi-looper larva. Pro legs and 3 pairs. 3 pair of thoracic legs are present and 5th, 6th, 10th is abdominal segment legs are present. Example is cotton semi-looper larva. So first 3 pairs are pro legs. 1, 2, 3 are pro legs on thoracic region and others are 5th, 6th and 10th abdomen segment layer. 1, 5th, 6th and 10th abdomen segment layer. Next is looper. So looper, it's clear from its name. Looper, it's loop-like structure, inchworm. Pro legs, 2 pairs, 1 each on 6th and 10th abdomen segment. The example of looper worm and looper larva is inchworm. Next type, third type of larva is apodous larva. So in apodous larva, it's a sluggish type larva. Its legs absent. In this larva, legs are absent. Poorly sclerotized. Types इसके 3 types: acephalous, hemicephalous, and eucephalous. First, acephalous larva. They have a greatly reduced head completely enclosed into the thorax. In acephalous larva, there is no legs, no completed head structure is present. So they have greatly reduced head and completely enclosed into the thorax. So acephalous larva is the example of larva of house fly. Second is hemicephalous. In hemispheres, reduced head, poorly developed posterior portion. So this type of larva is present in horsefly. Third is Eucephalus. In the Eucephalus larva is a larva of mosquito. So in this larva, well developed head structure, but there is no legs present in larva of mosquito. Only the well developed head structure are present in Eucephalus larva.